What's good guys, Jay here bringing you a Monkey Madness 2 bursting guide. Requirements for this guide are Monkey Madness 2 and Desert Treasure. I wouldn't say Void is a requirement, however I would highly suggest it. Ancestrals are obviously good, Mystic is going to be less XP per hour than this, so just bear that in mind. We use the Occult, Imbued, God Cape, Book of Darkness, Seer's Ring Eye and Eternal Boots. I'd recommend having 62 Mage, just for the multi-target Ancient spell. Also 64 for Shadow Burst and 70 for Ice Burst. That's what I personally use. I use a kodai as well. Usually I use about 4k Chaos and 2k Death per hour, which is about 650k GP. That gets me 250k Magic XP an hour, which I'm more than fine with. I also use an Imbued Heart, but at the moment it's about 30 mil, so if it's a bit too pricey for you, I would just bring some Magic Potions. It boosts your XP, so it's worth it. We also bring the Royal Seed Pod, just for teleporting there and teleporting out. A light source is required within the dungeon, so we need to bring one of those. 3 prayer potions. I bring these as purely a precautionary measure. However, I like to just have them as backup. I've often found that my RNG is dog shit and I need to tally out because I've run out of prayer. And a 1 dose stamina potion for when, 71 agility is just not high enough apparently. Okay, so I'm all geared and ready to go. Obviously we start the trip by teleporting to the Gnome Stronghold. From there we go up the ladder right to the glider spot. We take the glider down to Apatol. Once we get on Apatol, we take the dungeon entrance that's just by the palm tree. Once we get down to the dungeon, you want to run just south until you hit a plateau. The dungeon then splits into 2 paths. You've got the northern path and the southern path. Unfortunately, this is different for every account. You could have the same path as me, you could have the northern path, you could have the same path as me, and then you have to change halfway through. It is just purely RNG based on your account. Just try every obstacle. If it doesn't let you through, then you know that that's not the way, and it's just trial and error essentially. If you do fall down, pray protect from melee. The monkeys can't hit through prayer and they only hit with melee, so it's a godsend. You just run to the northwest corner. There's always a rope at the northwest corner, so just run west until you see it. Climb up and then try again. At first it can be a bit daunting not knowing which path to take and frustrating even trying and failing or going the wrong way, but once you've done 2 or 3 trips here, you'll know your path and it can be quick. You can bank in less than 5 minutes. So we want to dodge every obstacle going just to the east. The east is where the spot is for the monkeys. Once you cross this log, you'll see a second plateau. The plateau is next to some fire. It has a climb down spot that you can peek into, similar to DKs if you've ever done DKs before. It lets you see if anyone's in that world. Don't be a dickhead and just crash someone. Hop worlds, even on peak time, it can be a bit frustrating because the worlds do get full. It's not worth trying to crash someone and ruining their XP and your XP. Once we've found a world and we're ready to climb down, we just want to put on protect from melee and then climb down. Once you've climbed down, we want to run all the way to the east. There's a room there where there's a considerable amount of monkeys and is the best spot for bursting. So once we were in the room, you can use the, I don't know what to call it, neck reel trick I guess, where you can go from corner to corner constantly forcing them to stack upon each other. I personally don't find that efficient because it requires a lot of effort and it's not very AFK. Usually I'll just stand in the middle of the room walking diagonally occasionally just to stack some monkeys up to get them next to each other. As long as you're hitting more than 4 or 5 you should be good. I would also suggest putting any attacking magic pres you have, whether it be Mystic Might or Augury. Augury is obviously better. It only costs a mil right now, so I would really suggest that, but it does require 77 prayer, so understandable if you don't have it. However, it does increase your XP per hour. You can also pray preserve if you have preserve again, just to keep the boost from either your magic potion or imbued heart. It does increase your XP again, and because prayer is no issue here, it's worth using. I treat the tunnels as a semi-AFK activity. I keep my prayer up as much as I can and keep picking up the prayer potions just because I like to sustain myself for longer. There are times where I've come away from a 2 or 3 hour trip with a full inventory of prayer potions, which does help to mitigate some of the costs of runes. Some people would suggest bringing a holy wrench just because it adds a little bit more efficiency to your prayer potions. Can if you have the requirement done rum deal. However, I don't bring one personally. I'd prefer to bring back a prayer potion rather than have a holy wrench in my inventory. So if you did want to use the nechril trick on stacking the monkeys, it's just in the northeastern corner. You basically just walk back and forth between the corner as I'm demonstrating now, just to try and get the monkeys to stand on each other. The only issue with this is, for one, it's not AFK, which is what I like to do when I come here. Also, the monkeys being on top of each other, they drop loot on the exact same tile. With the loot being on the tile, it can be bothersome just to try and pick up the prayer potions. But if you want to feel like you're involved, or you don't mind trading a bit more XP for a few prayer potion doses, then by all means this would be the method to use. So after about 15 minutes or so, the monkeys do lose aggro on you, as all creatures do in RuneScape. So to prevent this, you can actually run just to the northwestern corner when they've lost aggro. You run into the northwestern corner and then all the monkeys re-aggro to you. So it's a nice little reset and it doesn't take too long to do. Thanks for watching, guys. Hope it's helped you be a little more efficient. I plan on uploading some more guides soon, including Blast Furnace and Nightmare Zone, maybe some Arania Altar, so if you want to see that, please drop a sub. And if I've missed anything, or there's a guide you want to see, just drop me a comment. Cheers.